Hey everybody, you're listening to the Hisessions Soy podcast where we talk about everything local and beyond. I'm John Yamasato, your host. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm gonna introduce you after we do all the introductions. So it's gonna sound like I'm not introducing you, but I'm back.
You should do that.
Hey everybody, you're listening to the Hisessions Soy podcast where we talk about everything local and beyond. I'm John Yamasato, your host, and joining me today is Kyle Shimabukuro, Devon Nekoba.
Howdy.
Before we begin, let me remind all our listeners of the ways they can stay in touch with the show. There is Facebook, Instagram, and X, all at Hisessions. You can go to SoundCloud, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, listen to the podcast, and finally, you can email us at hisessions@yahoo.com. You know what? I'm lying. We don't have an account on X, so you won't find us there.
Oh.
No. We had one on Twitter. That's why I kept saying Twitter, but now that I think about it, we don't have anything.
When they transferred over, it didn't make it?
I don't think so. Oh, maybe it would do. I don't know. If you'd like to help the show and get more music on our channel, please go to patreon.com and donate.
Quality, this show.
There you'll be more involved. Help determine who what is filmed. No new patrons this week, but I've been talking to Bob from Texas.
The artist?
About the
Oh,
artist.
cool.
Yeah, about his stuff. So there may be something going on with that.
This guy makes amazing stuff out of wood, and it looks like he can make a shirt that looks like a shirt, but it's made out of
But it's
wood.
made out of wood, yeah.
You
So
can't wear
cool.
them, though. Too
Right,
heavy.
yeah.
Well, you could try, but
Yeah. I'd like to thank Koopa Koopa Landscaping, Landscape Architects. You can call Kevin Yokomura at 808-722-8685 for a free estimate, or go to koopakoopalandscaping.com. And, of course, Fort Ruger Market. I've been bad about staying away from the fish, but, you know.
why would
But-
you eat another
Why I've been eating poke bowls outside. I should really just save it.
outside of?
Well, because
Like you're cheating.
There's been a couple of times where it's like, I don't want to eat anything else but a poke bowl, you
I
know?
ate
Like,
one last night. I ate the salmon one.
oh, salmon's not bad.
You
What's
two
happened
are-
to Mercury?
You
That's
two
right.
are
Yeah.
the worst, man.
We got mercury poisoning, bro.
Not
no,
poisoning.
You have mercury poisoning.
Poisoning
You
is
have high
different
levels
than
of
just having
mercury.
high levels of
Gonna
mercury.
eat fish. Gonna eat like
They're not supposed to, but they're
Not
doing
supposed
it anyway.
All right, our special guest today is Mr. Vergel Jepas.
Hey.
Good afternoon. Aloha.
Vergel has been a musician and a songwriter and singer on the islands for a little while.
A little bit.
He's a young guy. I first saw you, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a pizza place in Restaurant Row.
Pizza Bob's.
It's Bob.
Pizza Bob's, is that what it's
Yep.
We all
called?
went
Okay.
there.
And you used to play there with Ben Ta'aka.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I first saw Vergel.
That was
And
your
back-
guys' steady gig, yeah, at that time.
Well, yeah, and we were called BVDs.
How come?
Ben, Virgil, and drums.
But you guys had that place pumping back then.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yep. Restaurant Row, Pizza Bob's. I think the guy was Lane.
The manager.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Lane was. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
what-
in fact, so Ben and I, we were playing with Mackie at the time, Mackie Fury,
Wow.
and Mackie wasn't showing up. We'd wait outside by the row bar stage, and we'd be like, okay, well, he's not here again. And the third time, Lane came out and said, hey, you guys want to have some pizza? And we're like, oh, okay. And then he asked us, so where's Mackie? And we're like, oh, I don't know. and he's like, well, you guys want to play here? And that's how it started.
Oh, so Mackie was gonna play at the row bar then. You guys.
Yeah,
with
so
Mackie.
we'd consistently show up for that gig. Ben
He
and
never
I.
showed.
Mackie wouldn't be there.
Did they at least pay you though for showing up?
No.
At least you guys got free pizza though. Huh?
Well, Lane was cool. Lane is a good guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never realized that.
But yeah, I mean, it was a great spot.
But did
I
you have to
remember
bring your
that.
own sound back then?
We did. So, I mean, you know, I think most of us have been doing it for so long, and even now, still doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
and really, you're at the mercy of if the location is just that underbidding business that just wants somebody there. You're going to be going through the house system of
Yeah.
possibly that Ion speaker from Costco.
Yeah. Those house systems are terrible, man.
You know what I
It's
mean?
terrible.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, if you really take pride in your craft,
Yeah.
Well,
I
back in
guess.
the day too, like playing at Pizza Bob's, people came to watch you guys play. It wasn't like just background music. You
Well,
know?
I mean, I think, and John and I were talking about that, the old days.
yeah,
I mean, everybody supported what people were doing in the restaurant of, or I should say, in the field of music. I mean, it was, I mean, everybody was so supportive back then. I mean, you guys supported chant for how long? I mean, diehard chant fans, and I couldn't ask for that.
Well,
So,
before that, I was watching you and Exit 8 play with
That's
Todd.
exactly.
At
So
Monterey
I
Bays.
mean,
Yeah.
Exit 8?
Yep.
Oh.
not eggs like.
Not eggs at 8, but
Exit 8, the Wahiwa cutoff,
Yeah.
because those guys were from Wahiwa.
So, Monterey Bay Pro City had Exit 8 and Nalu as their house band on the weekend.
When was this?
God,
This is
in the
about
90s,
mid-
80s and
90s,
90s.
yeah.
before Pizza Bob's.
Yeah, way
Yeah.
before Pizza Bob's, yeah.
And
Pizza Bob's was 95.
Exit 8 had Todd, what is this?
Todd, Sheldon Katayama, and
Yeah.
Donovan and Gloria. They were the original Exit 8.
Uh-huh.
And then Donovan went to play with Nightwing. Then,
Nightwing.
yeah, and then like I used to go. Back then, I wasn't that much of a musician, so I'd go to try to sing with the bands. I'd wear my best Sunday clothes and sit in the audience and be like, I hope they call me.
Oh, yeah.
Please. No, don't call me. No, please call me. Please pick me. And I mean, that's how I got that gig anyway. Donovan went to go play with Nightwing, and then I wasn't even playing bass that much. But Sheldon was like, "Oh, you play guitar, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, just play less strings." I'm like, okay. Just sing and play less strings. So I mean, that's kind of like how I got the gig, really.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
You know when you were in the audience and raising your hand to be, well, hopefully getting picked to
Yeah.
sing, what was the go-to song?
it depends, because sometimes they would ask me to do this song or do that song, and I would have to go home and learn it if I didn't know it.
Which one do you remember singing the most?
Let's see. It's been a while. So they would make me sing like some obscure songs, like God Bless a Child was one of them.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But they would play it in like a R&B style. So it was nice. So that, I remember that. A lot of Christmas songs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, wait. So you're a Pearl City guy. You born and
Yeah,
raised Pearl
born-
City?
Well,
Well,
we're,
not
my,
born, but
most of my life in Pearl City, and my father was in the military, so we
okay.
traveled. We
okay.
traveled, but I was born in Hawaii. My siblings were born in the Philippines and Japan. I have 2 sisters.
You graduated from Pro City. Yeah?
I did,
Yeah.
class of 83,
Yeah.
2083. Yeah.
okay. So you go there, and then what made you get into music? Were you just, is it a family thing? Like, did your family all
Well,
play?
I think so. Yes, it is. My father could play almost any instrument by ear, and but he never wanted me to play, because Asian thing, you know,
Oh.
it's an Asian thing. You're not gonna do that. It's for the girls. You're gonna be, a doctor or something,
Oh.
right?
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
full on Asian style, and so I didn't start playing music until a few years after my father passed away, which
Oh.
was, I was probably 9th grade by then.
So you didn't touch an instrument until that time?
I did. I would sneak,
Yeah, sneak away, play some
sneak,
ukulele
and just
stuff.
pretend like I could play and play one chord and play that one chord on every fret, and
Yeah.
So I mean, I taught myself, but my sisters played piano and guitar and sang as well. So, but they never took it as a career. My oldest sister was a retired piano teacher.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, so they're all musically inclined, and then you just have to watch.
well, I got to watch.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Oh.
But I think because of that,
Yeah.
it pushed me to, I guess, reach for that goal more.
Yeah.
Because I really loved music. I mean, just love watching, love listening to my dad. I remember as a child, I would lay behind the piano because there was a space that I could fit, just to hear my dad play, but he couldn't see me because he wouldn't want me to watch.
That's interesting that he was a musician himself and decided that he didn't want you.
Well, I
learning
mean,
that.
I think he wasn't a musician. He was a chef.
No.
But I think maybe he probably, well, I don't know, because he passed away when I was young.
Yeah.
But I think he probably knew that I would probably have fallen in love with music just like everybody else in my family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like the evil of it. Not the evil, but just the...
What's a hard life?
Well, the passion of, like, falling in love with something that possibly may not be your calling, or you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, luckily for me, I never knew what not good enough was.
Yeah.
I didn't have a gauge. Like where we lived, our house was the last house on the hill in Pearl City for many, many years. We were, our neighborhood was kind of segregated from the rest of Pearl City because it was YL. We were like the newest subdivision in Pearl City. And so not only were we frowned upon just because, we're the new kids, there was nothing, there was no, rec center, there was no pool, there was, so the mountains and, the dirt fields were our playground.
The red dirt field.
The red dirt fields. So, I think, but then growing up with that kind of lifestyle, it really kept me grounded as I grew in nature, and being natural with music, because
Now, then, are you self-taught then?
pretty much. And then,
Ah.
then I went to college.
Okay.
That's, then when I went to college,
You went away?
no, I was here, just at the community college.
Okay.
But I went to college to be a chef. I went to culinary school, and after I finished, because I had the GI Bill from my father. He was in the military,
Okay.
and so after I graduated, I worked at this place that my chef said, if you can work here, you can work anywhere. You this is the golden key to your success. So I passed, and
What was the restaurant?
it was Columbia in Pearl City.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
so
old school, bro.
well, and talk
That's-
about the way, and that chef at the time, his name was Rick Yadao. I believe he's passed on, but because that chef was my teacher's number one student as well.
Oh.
But that guy, and the way he taught his kitchen, if you didn't know how to do every station, then you didn't know how to do
On
anything.
top of that, you cook any kind of food in Colombia.
And so-
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
And
that's
it's,
a.
and
know,
it's
with-
turn and burn too, so it's not like
Well,
people,
with a heavy focus on Japanese food, and tempura, like the old way.
Oh.
So you have to make the flakes
Yeah.
and put the shrimp in, and it's like crazy.
Can you still do all that stuff?
Of course.
Yeah.
But I just go to Chef's Zone and buy the one with the crinklies on it. It's already done. I just tell my wife, babe, just buy the crinkly shrimp. But I think after I graduated and went through that process, I wanted to go back to school, and the chef turned me down because he needed me on that shift,
Oh wow.
because he wanted me to run the kitchen.
Oh.
But I didn't want that. I wanted to go back to school for music,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
Because I saw all the kids singing and playing. I'm like, wow, that is cool. I've never been around that. I never knew what music school was even.
Growing up, what was your influence then when you saw all these bands playing? Who was it?
You mean like what did I listen to?
Yeah.
Well, I think my father, because he was a world traveler, he had a lot of music that wasn't from Hawaii. You know, like a lot of R&B, old Motown, the Beatles.
It explains
You
your
know.
influences.
Well, I mean, you know, it's what I listened to. Like,
Yeah.
growing up, like.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's funny that you should say that because like when I listen to the Stylistics, I mean, like half my Chant album is that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
Yeah.
with
The
parts
harmonies and the
harmonies and
construction
stuff,
of things. Yeah,
just
of course.
the way it's built,
Yep.
the way it begins and ends.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I do attribute a lot of that to what my dad turned me on to when I was a kid, and then but my sister too. I mean, my sister, she's just a handful of years older than I am, but she took me to the Diamond Head Creator Festival.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
wow.
I was like a little kid, dude.
So you're into rock concerts and stuff.
So this was Kalapana, bro.
Oh, okay.
After
Kalapana
Diamond
and
Head?
Santana.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. I mean,
How old were you when you went?
I had to be like 11 or something.
Wow, your sister gave you that experience. I didn't know. That's
It
cool.
was awesome.
I wish
And-
I wish they even had that still yet.
You know,
Yeah.
well, again, it's sad of what the industry has become, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, everything takes a turn or everything grows into something that we revert back to the old days about it because before you know it, I mean, look at the industry now. People are just all into country. But,
That's true.
But we grew up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
Kenny Rogers, come on. I
Yeah.
mean, like Islands in the Stream, we were kids.
Yeah.
And
mean,
even
we're-
C&K was country.
I mean, all of it. I mean,
Yeah.
there was very, I would say, less of a categorization.
Yeah.
It was just good music and not so good music, you know, or,
Well,
you know.
what do you think about this? Because I had this thought thinking about the Pizza Bob's days.
Mm.
You know, in our day coming up, people would look for things to do because that's how you would socialize, right? And so it made sense to bring your sound system to a different location, sit there and play because people would come and that's how they would socialize and you'd meet people. It was like you make a night out of it. Right?
Absolutely.
Now it's not like that anymore. You know,
It's
like-
not, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I think we did it to ourselves. I mean, we are to blame with social media, with how people say the attention disorder is like, was it? Or, you know, you get 20 seconds, 15 seconds of people's time now. And like in songwriting, people always say, okay, you got 30 seconds to the hook. Now, you got to play the hook off the top.
These kids lose interest.
Or it's like, that sucks, dude. Where's the hook?
So it doesn't make sense to. I just did a gig this weekend and I was carrying all the speakers and stuff. I'm like, I'm getting a little old for this. I don't know if I, you know how, but I think it was worth it back in the day because it became something when you got there and
It was an
you know,
event.
It was an event,
Yeah.
you know. Now
Well, it
just-
was our life event, though, John. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
we were kind of like we had a goal. I mean, like I'm sure because when we were coming up, and it's pretty obvious and easy to say that we came up the same time. Like as far as Chant and Pure Heart, we came
Yeah.
up the same time, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
and that was to me second generation Renaissance because I mean, we were still on stations, not just one station,
right.
you know. And now you're only on one station or the other.
I think back to the 90s when you guys were, you know, really popular with Chant and Pure Heart and even Honua, and you'd walk into Tower Records and you would see your guys' CDs in the
Yeah.
front center.
Exactly.
I would go, God, I know these people. These are my friends, you know?
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore. We don't get that experience anymore.
Well, I mean,
Also
because-
a record store.
Yeah.
That and I think a lot of it is the perception. I mean, the perception of how, okay, for example, with the social media thing, I'm the most like out of date. I probably get like 2 friends on my Instagram, you know, the kind, because I'm so not, you know, up to date with anything, and that is my choice because I think when people come to see me, then I'm like, not like an oddity, but more like, God, where do you play or what do you do? I'm like, I'm just myself. But I'm glad you're excited, because, if I'm just going to be out there pumping myself up, there's expectation. People expect so much from just people that want to do what they want to do. It's not what you want to do anymore. You have to be up there.
You have to think about,
Like, okay, am I going to play? Am I opening up with a Fiji song? Because if I do, then after that, I got to play a Maoli song, blah, 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 blah. And I've never done that in my whole career.
You've never, ever.
So I've never, and it's not so much that I've never appeased the crowd. That's not it. Those guys have their following. And if you want to hear that, you can go see them. I mean, that's why there's all of us. I mean, you think Jake guy's gonna play one Fiji song? I don't think so. But I mean, you can ask. I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even going back to this gig this weekend, I was sitting there playing, and it was a grad party, and I was like,
"That's weird, dude."
I was like, man, I don't think anybody knows any of these songs anymore. But these are my songs, But it's been so long, I don't think anybody knows. So I'm like,
parents are enjoying it, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe the parents knew, but so I was like, man, should I learn some new songs?
I know exactly how you feel.
Maoli songs or something.
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
I know exactly how you feel.
Why would I do that? Like, at
you
this
sing
point,
a Maoli song would be a little weird for me. Actually,
well, I mean, it's kind of in the vein because it's like kind of country. It's like reggae country, right? So you could country it. You could re-country it.
Yeah, you could put it back to where it came from.
In
other words,
You could unreggae stuff.
Unreggae it.
But also too, I mean, Vergel's always been, I don't know, you've always been somebody who marches to their own beat and hears what you hear and then tries to create it. So like if people go to see you, when people go see you in Waimanalo or, with your wife, Paula, when they play, it really is an unusual experience. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean you guys get up, you start playing music and people go, oh,
yeah, and
wow,
you
I never heard that song before.
And you twist it to make it your own.
Yeah, and
which is great. It's not, that sounds like the record or that sounds like the radio. It's your own version of that song.
I think if I was, I think a lot of musicians, and myself included, we have aspirations to be, or want to sound a certain way, maybe, or attain a goal of, okay, I finally can do it. I can Billy Man it or whatever. I can do it. But then you think about that and doing that 100 times.
Yeah.
That's not you. If you got to think about doing it 100 times. I mean, it's like this whole time when you guys asked me to do the cast, and Kyle said, well, you don't necessarily have to play. Then I was like, well, yeah, cool then. Because, I mean, all I do is play, right? And then I go through this thing of like, oh, what am I going to play? Oh, nobody know my songs. Oh, I don't think Hisessions audience going to know it. Like, who's this guy? Right? But, I mean, I'm just glad to be a part of the industry for as long as I have. And
you've played with so many
I haven't had to
people.
change so much.
Yeah.
By
the way, I did have a good time at the grad party.
It looked like you had fun.
Yeah, I did.
Had your classmates there too.
Yeah, I had my
right?
classmates there and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things. Like, I get there and it's a good. But I do have those thoughts. Like, does anybody know what I'm doing up here? Like, they just sitting there going, like, I've never heard these songs. Why is this guy here? Like, I do have
the kids
those
going,
thoughts.
I think that's uncle's friend.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think maybe we need to clarify for the audience as well that Vergel occupies an interesting space for the three of us because he's known us for 30 years-ish, right?
Long time.
And we've known him throughout different points of his life. I think when we first met you, you were doing chant. You were also playing with Brother Nolan. But we've also known him because he was in a play with Kyle and I at Diamond Head for Lisa Matsumoto, which is where Kyle and I met. John knows him specifically from music. I know Vergel also because he's married to my classmate, my high school classmate, which was like, what? But also because he spent some time working at the city doing the like the production stuff. So if you did an event, Vergel was there twisting the knobs and making sure that the sound worked. And I think for me that's why it was great that you're here, just because we could talk for like 3 hours on just the different spots where you've done music, participated in music. Because some of it is almost like, sorry, but it's almost like Forrest Gump kind. Where like, oh, it's Brother Nolan. It is Vergel.
Yeah.
Oh, Kalapana's it is Vergel. Hey, oh, Mackie Fury's playing a solo gig. It is Vergel. And then he has his own group, and then he's playing with his wife. And you sort of, and even like Zanuck, Lindsay. But Vergel is Vergel's one of those guys where he's always been in the mix. He's always been somebody that if you're a musician, you want to call this guy to make you sound better. And it's never because you necessarily do the thing that makes them sound a certain way, but you have a ability to hear the music and make it sound better. I don't know if that even makes sense. That's why they pull you in. At least that's what I understand. And the amazing thing for me is that you're self-taught. It's not like you went and you have your master's in music theory or any of that kind of stuff. Like all this stuff that you learn by ear, which is
Pretty
amazing,
much.
man.
I spent a lot of time in the bathroom playing the guitar. I remember in 10th grade, I got cut from the JV football team because I was talking to the cheerleader. And that kind of crushed me because, I thought for sure finally I was like maybe finding an identity because I was a late bloomer. I didn't have my father, and I had a step-in father, I should say. He was more of an uncle, but that was not my dad. You know what I mean? So I kind of lacked in the identity section of not just manhood, but just being. So when I got cut from the football team, then music seemed like the thing because it wasn't gonna quit on me. If anything, I would quit. You'd quit.
Yeah.
You'd quit because music will go on forever and ever, right? So I could recall my whole 10th grade year up at Pearl City, not going to class, but playing guitar a lot and singing in the bathrooms, whatever. And the security guards were cool because they're like, "Oh boy, to play that song again," because they knew I was practicing and stuff like that. And so I had this really trippy kind of upbringing from myself that led me down this, led us through brown bags and everything. You know what I mean? Like, I remember seeing Capena at the brown bags. I mean, it was just so trippy. Everybody, Naleo, all these bands were there just at the same.
At the very start, yeah.
When you entered brown bags, what was it? You were in a rock band?
No. I was in a like a kind of a pop band.
And all Pro City guys.
All Pro City guys had to be.
So what do you guys play?
We played this song called "Smile Again" by the Manhattan Transfer.
Okay.
Wow.
So
that's off the beaten path.
Well, one of the guys that played with us, he was a upperclassman, and you guys probably know his brother Roderick Esteban, drummer.
Okay. Yeah.
So Robbie is my classmate.
And Robbie's okay. So Ronnie. So they're all my Calabash cousins. Our families came from the same village in the Philippines.
Oh wow.
This place called Cavite. So anyway, so the oldest brother Ronnie, he was just like whiz in music. Like he could play anything on his piano or synthesizer, anything.
Well, in the end, he ended up doing a lot of when sequencing came on. He became a one-man band, right?
Yep.
Oh, really?
And so he was the guy at Hobo House.
Yep.
If you needed sequencing,
right when 98.5 came out, like he did Fiji stuff. He did a bunch of other
So you think I started New Generation and all that?
Other thing, and
He did a lot of their
his
music,
sound
and-
became like the sound of
Yeah.
that era.
Yeah.
Early
Definitely.
2000s.
That's right. That's
Definitely,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. And I mean, moving fast forward, I mean, I bring up his name because he was an upperclassman, and he would always challenge us to like, hey, well, geez, anybody can play that song, and we're like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right, because like I guess he's right. I mean, because he knows more than us. So then he brought this song. Hey, how about this one? And we're like, oh wow. And if you've ever heard that song, "Smile Again" by the Manhattan Transfer, it's really, I mean, it's an ear stretcher. Because it's Manhattan Transfer. So
The harmonies and
so
all
it's
that
kind of
stuff,
like
yeah.
got that part, and I know for sure that we did not nail it. Come on now, I doubt it. But I mean, the lead parts, I think we did pretty good because it got us to the show. I mean, it got us to back then it was a show. Yeah.
To the show.
Well,
So-
let me ask you something. I want to build on what Devon said because I have this philosophical question.
Yeah,
that maybe
sure.
we can all pontificate on. But he said, you've played with all these guys, Mackie and Brother Nolan and everybody, and I think it's because you have a good ear and a good sense of where to be. It's like, now over the years, I've played with all kind of people, right? And there are people that I know that they're better players, but they don't know when to play. I don't know how to say that. Like,
No, you said it. You said it exactly
like,
right.
They don't know what to like pop in and pop out, and like they either play over you or they're just their phrasing is so. It's just like because they playing lead and stuff is like, or even bass or whatever. It's like you're talking, right? Mm-hmm. And some people just ramble on and like
Absolutely.
Do you think that's something that can be taught, or is that just something that is within?
I think, and just to try to answer it quickly, if the person that's, I mean, you gotta want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like how when you're growing up and your parents say, "Speak when spoken to." I mean, I know all of us grew up that way, right? But what happens when you speak out of turn? Cracks. Right? And so I mean, like music is, I'm not going to the abusive part of life, but I'm just saying that, when people don't want to listen and they only want to hear themselves, because I know a ton of people just like you that are like that. And, for the life of me, even trying to tell them, and show them, it's going to be one of those things when they're turned away. When you lose an opportunity, or when it's something tragic, and people in life always people say that it takes a tragedy for you to listen or learn something. This is no different because that is a tragedy. We're not. It's not rocket science.
Well, I just think about like, some people just lacking the feel. I guess, like if you go like on a scale of 0 to 100, John Cruz is 100% feel.
100%.
Right? He's not playing anything super complicated.
Nope.
But man, you remember what it is, even just the little things that he's doing on the guitar, right? It's simple stuff, but you feel because it's coming in when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Everything has a voice,
Yeah.
And then you have guys that just like, but it doesn't, there's no feel to it. I don't know. It's just kind of. And I'm just wondering if that person can become someone who plays with feel and,
I think it's like what he said, though, right? You have to be humbled in order to be able to lay back enough to hear it. But that's why, I mean, when you were talking about it, the first person that came to mind was Brian Tolentino.
Yeah.
Brian is
Brian's
fantastic.
good.
He's amazing. And again, musician. They go, that's the guy. Bring that guy on.
Yeah.
And people in the audience may not hear it or think about it, but Brian knows it. And Brian only knows it because he sits back and goes, okay, what is that person doing? What is that person doing? Okay, how do I fit what I do?
And Brian also said in an interview, less is more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why he fits in the pocket.
Yeah.
Sometimes like space
Yeah.
is super important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Vergil's you've always been like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Verge
Even
is-
within chant, right?
Yeah.
Within chant, you're the guy
He's-
playing the guitar that kind of held everything down. You let everybody's voices, D's voice, go crazy and go all over the place, and then you just sort of hold the line, and then everybody would come back, boom, and you go. And the interesting thing for me watching you arrange the lyric stuff is that whenever people would say, "Oh, Vergel arranged all this stuff," you go, "No, it's everybody," and to have that humility about it, I think is important because you know what you do, you know
I know
how
what
good
I
you
do.
are, but
But
you
I-
don't want to crow about it.
But I think and getting back to what John is saying, I know what you mean. I mean, I play with some people that can overplay, but then I play with some people that are just like, wow. Like you don't even have to tell them what to do. Some guys, you never even played with them before, and it's just like, wow.
Did you guys, both of you, did you ever experience that when someone jumped on stage and you automatically just jive?
Oh, all the time.
Who was the, like, if you had to pick one person when they jumped on and you go, oh, there's something here that's like a good
we had
fit,
Blaine,
you know?
right? Blaine was like that. with you.
Blaine. I mean, you can just tell guys that are like, oh, okay, this guy, he just knows,
Yeah.
Yeah, Blaine's kind of like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Ben
I don't-
Talker is like that.
Oh,
Ben.
Ben's like that too.
Yeah,
Ben-
you and Ben have always been a really good
Ben,
combination.
when I first met Ben, talk about humble. This guy,
I know.
I mean, he came out from way out west, from where I, like, just what he learned to do, and this is I wanted to lead in with this for the question that you had or the thought that you had about the feel and the thought process of space and whatnot. When I met Ben, he wasn't doing the kind of music that we were doing, but he took that time to listen.
Was it more rock and stuff?
Well, he came from pop rock, Van Halen, like rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can solo.
Well, he can rip, that's why.
Yeah, he
But
can.
then, but it's not all that he did. I mean, he was very young when he was doing it, so it wasn't like 100%. Like like how if you listen to Dan from Dan's Guitars, every solo sounds like the record,
Oh, really?
and he gets the tone down to like, okay, that sounds exactly like that distortion guitar. I
Wow.
mean, Dan is crazy like that. He's got dog ears when it comes to making.
That's the Asian in him.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is just crazy. But I mean, like Ben, he just had a way of like figuring out. Okay, I see what you're doing. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and that's when I knew. That's when I knew that I'm gonna be playing with this guy for a long time. Unfortunately, it ended shorter than I wished for. But I mean, still, when we play together, so much respect, because he always. I never have he's always playing perfectly. It's like you don't have to think about anything. I mean, like this one gig that we just did, that it was a wedding thing, but I mean, these guys are all in. I mean. And they were, I think what was the coolest part about that gig was, and it was the chant gig, wedding thing that we did for Carl's daughter.
Oh, that's
Layla.
right. Yeah.
Everybody was in it for the good. You know what I mean? It was like nobody was getting something out of it. We were all in it together.
Yeah.
When
And,
you guys did get together for your first rehearsal, how fast did it come back?
You know what? Me, Charlie, and Paula. With D, it takes a while, cause D is a soloist.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a soloist, solo singer, and he doesn't play an instrument. Okay, so he's heavily reliant on. Talk about a ball of feel.
Yeah.
If he doesn't feel right, or if he feels threatened or whatever, it's not gonna go well.
Mm.
I mean, and I'm not bad mouthing him. That's just him. But you know, I think when I could see at the
Well,
gig,
It's hard because he doesn't have as much control, right?
that's what I mean. But
Yeah.
then you know what? The cool part about what that is, even though he doesn't have so much control, he's much more free than us in that sense.
Yeah.
So then when it's aligned,
Yeah.
it's holy cow.
Yeah.
That
It's
that night
crazy.
that you guys jammed at P.E.'s house after Tanner's dad's
That he
passing.
was aligned.
Whew, man, that thing was fire, dude. I was like,
And he was aligned though. I mean,
wow.
he was so aligned.
yeah,
you
like
know
D
what I
showed
mean?
up kind of out of the blue. We didn't expect him to be there.
Yeah.
Tanner was there. I mean, and there was no rehearsal. They just jumped in the in his
Garage or something?
garage
Yeah.
and just I have thank God I thought to take video of it because you can't.
He was FaceTiming me live.
I know.
What was going on?
It was transcendent stuff because it
hilarious.
was old school stuff that we haven't heard them do.
Yeah.
And they just kind of went, "What song we gonna do?" And they just launched into stuff. We were like, "What the heck is going on?" And
But
that
you
was-
know, we were living in our own paradise, right? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you know, it's like half the people in this world could care less about what we're talking about right now. But thanks, because
but
because
that's
it's magic.
I think that was the magic of chant. I think when you guys got together and played together, the level of the musicianship, because like you were saying, right? If he wasn't feeling it, you could tell when he was at the gig.
Yeah.
But when he was, you guys all completely filled in and did your parts, and everybody, held each other, did what you had to do, and then of course the harmonies were always the basis of what you guys did.
Yeah.
That nobody else really. I don't. To this day, I don't.
Well, you know,
Nobody can really touch you guys. On
I
that
think
stuff.
and I won't fight you on that, but I will say that after Chant did what we did, and I'm very proud of that moment, that time. But I feel like we inspired a whole slew of other young musicians, and young and old, that said, "Wow, it's okay to do that.
R&B is okay.
It's okay to play acoustic R&B. It's quite all right."
Yeah.
And then when you kick it up, you kick it up. But I mean, it's okay if those guys can do it, and make a thing of it. Because I mean, Ole came out, Rain came out. I mean, kind of same time, but I mean, I think we kind of surpassed them a little bit because they were such a big band. Bigger
Yeah,
than
hard,
us.
They're like 8 guys in the band, and that was just the singers.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, so like they would have to do big stages like Caponos and stuff.
Yeah.
They couldn't do Jarens. They couldn't
Yeah, the smaller
Kincaid.
gigs.
Oh, Sharon's.
Yeah, they couldn't do any of those gigs
Yeah.
because I mean they were like 12 of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, but like I was saying, I mean we got to share our music to inspire, and that's kind of what to me music is all about, and always has been. Because if we're inspiring people, we're doing the right thing.
I wanted to ask you, with all the bands that you play with, from CNK to Kalapana to Mackie to Chant and Nolan and everything, is there one performance or gig that sticks out as a memorable performance for you? Like something funny that happened or memorable that happened?
There's a bunch of things, bunch of funny things, some not so funny, or more comical, or humorous, I should say. But I mean, I think, there was a time when, Brother Nolan was he's like my father.
Yeah.
Even though he's not that much older than I am, he treated me that way because he saw what chant was. And I remember because I met Brother Nolan personally in 1993, Waihole Valley, and it was for a water rights
Oh wow.
demonstration.
You guys was both
in-
performing.
and we went up to show support.
Yeah.
And it was just the 4 of us and my beach guitar, because that's how we started.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Of course.
All I had was a nylon string guitar, and and we had matching shirts from Old Navy. So,
Thank God for Old Navy.
This is before the locomotion days, then, right?
before locomotion days. So we met Nolan there, and I could recall he started with his whole set of get up, stand up, and stuff like that, and it was just epic, you know. And then we went on, and you know, I was telling the boys, you saw how Pops did it. We got to do 10 times more, because I mean, we're so just sing, man. And so we did well, and then but Donnie Martin, Uncle Donnie, and Nolan came up to us, and Bulayi was there too, also, which was more funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, but he really took the time with us and sat down and chatted. You know, I mean, and I'll never forget that. He's like, "Wow, you guys get something," you know, and so, and a few years, 2 years went by, and then I was in his band. So I mean,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
I was wondering how that happened.
well, how it happened was, and we all know this gentleman, Jack Ofoia, Pearl City grad, yeah, and
What is it with Pro City and the musicians? I don't
I don't know,
understand, man.
but all I know is
Pearl City or Kaimuki or Kaiser.
Wow.
Those are your three.
yeah, right. But I mean, Jack, he gave me a lot of opportunities, and I think because Jack looks at all of us like his little brother. I mean, he's such a caring gentleman.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, bottom line, he's just a caring gentleman that has really like love everybody. He has a true.
That's another guy, by the way, has a really good feel.
Just-
He's just like, he knows
He's
the
just,
pocket.
but he's just so genuine
Yeah.
in his. If he likes you, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, do all my gigs, Verge. I mean, so I had, because of Jack, the Mackie gig and the Nolan gig.
Oh, really?
Because what happened with Mackie was Jack was still playing with Nolan, but because Jack played with the Mackie Fury band
Okay.
back in the day. Okay, with Nightlife. I mean, with those bands.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't take the gig when Mackie came home, so he asked me to do the gig.
Oh.
Okay, and then, I didn't stay long with Mackie. I stayed for about a year, maybe, and then he was gigging with Amy and Mauna Lua and all these groups. So he told me to play with Nolan, and he was like kind of like keeping it in the family kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he probably knew you were good too.
Yeah.
So and the funny thing is, with Nolan, I was super nervous, and I remember that my first conversation with him was, "Oh, I don't play reggae, Pops," and he said, "Okay, is that all?" Yeah. I said, "Okay, well, let's make music then." So I mean, that was so. I don't know of any gig that I've done with Nolan in the past 20 years that sounded the same, because I don't think
Yeah.
I played the same because of what he allowed me to do. And then most of the time it was just him and I,
Yeah.
so I had to cover a lot of ground.
So this is pre-PE coming on board and stuff too?
Pre-PE, and then with PE, and then PE got to experience the growth with us. You know what I mean? Because I mean, he was kind of like, and he's like my little brother, right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I watched
Pete
him
Miguel,
grow.
by the way, who's in Seven Sons,
Yep.
Yeah.
but has
Yeah.
also played with a lot of bands, and another guy,
Yeah.
really good on feel.
And so PE, I've known PE since he was in high school, and in fact, he was a Chant fan, and I remember one time him and Taz and all those guys would sneak in the club, okay, and to the point where they met us. Then we'd like, oh yeah, come in the back door, kind like that kind. And then, but then one time he asks me, "Oh, I can come to you guys' rehearsal or what?" I'm like, "Why? It's so boring." I mean, not for me, but I mean for everybody else, because nobody's like super extreme like I am and intense. But he wanted to come to the rehearsals, so I mean, he got to see how I did
work.
things, and then he brought that with him when she started playing with us. Eventually, as the years went by, and then he played with Nolan and I, and by then it was kind of cool because didn't really have to show this person anything, not much anyway, because he's super talented in his own right, and he's got a mean pocket.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah,
He
so
really does.
so I mean, he when we were allowed, which was not all the time, but when we were allowed, it was really cool to have us guide Nolan's music into a certain place, because if not, it's just going to be certain. But then because we had a lot of time on the road and we did all kinds of gigs.
You guys traveled mainland and everything.
Yeah,
right?
we got to experiment.
So you have time, especially sound checks and stuff.
Yeah, but we got to experiment a lot, and so I think again I owe that to Nolan, because he he allowed me to become the bass player that I am.
Yeah, because I've known you for playing guitar. So when you're playing with Nolan and I'm seeing you on a bass, I'm like, oh, I don't know. And majority of the time, in fact, all the time, you're playing bass, and it was just a surprise for me. But so hearing your story now, and that you learned how to play bass, and then did kind of both between guitar and bass. Do you find one that you're more comfortable with? Because you also, I mean, when you're playing with Paula, it's you and guitar. So.
Yeah, well, funny that you should say that. I love playing the bass. I'm not that good, but I love playing the bass because I feel like it teaches you to be a really good musician if you let yourself.
How so?
Less is more.
Okay.
If you can play at the bottom and stay at the bottom. But if you're gonna just trip out and try to play every fill and just be in everybody's shit, nobody's calling, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's calling. I mean,
interesting.
you can think the world of yourself. Nobody's calling. And so, I mean, I love playing the bass in that sense where even in like studio settings where people that didn't know that I play bass go, "Oh, you play that track?" I'm like, "Yeah." And my style is not, I don't know what kind of style I have, but I mean, I guess it was good enough to one person in particular, John Basse, he calls me for to lay bass a lot, and when he wants this Lee Sklar-ish feel, which is the James Taylor's bass player, who is one of my biggest inspirations, James Taylor.
Isn't he the guy that was on that Jackson Brown video?
Yeah, with the big.
With the big beard.
So,
yeah.
but that particular bass player, he brought money to James's music. I mean, not that it needed it.
Yeah.
Believe me, not that it needed it, but the camaraderie and what they did together is historical.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
So-
I mean, and like you said, right? He knew the feel. He understood where he fit within the music, and then he just hit that pocket. And James Taylor went, "Oh yeah, okay, that's the stuff."
Yeah.
I got two real quick questions.
Yes.
One is you told me this story before, but I just want to make sure we get it on tape. So when you were writing Chant, and I think it was "Love You for Life."
Okay.
Mackie actually wrote something for that song.
Okay, so it's not that song, but it was Kylie.
Kylie, that's right.
Yeah, Kylie was the in fact, so I was playing with Mackie at the time.
Yeah.
And we were sharing a rehearsal space, and Mackie would come to our rehearsals and just vibe because Mackie appreciated music,
Right.
all kinds.
Right.
And so he would hang. And then when he heard Kylie, we came to that bridge. Please don't go. No, 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 no. All the movements, the chordal movements and the melodic inflection, that was Mackie.
Huh.
Wow.
So he came up with that bridge.
And he just said, "Hey, try this."
Yeah. So after the rehearsal, he went off and came to the next one and he said, "Hey, I got something," and he played it for us. And
Wow.
I mean, I was looking at Tanner, and Tanner's face was just like, and Tanner, he's never speechless.
Yeah.
He's
is true.
he's never speechless.
Right.
He was like, his mouth was open, and it was pretty funny.
That's crazy.
But
Yeah.
what a beautiful gift to get from him. That's so
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That's so
Absolutely,
awesome, yeah.
and I never get to say that story enough, and but thanks for reminding me.
Was Mackie musically inclined naturally, or was he like a really like?
Mackie was a genius,
Yeah.
a child prodigy. He could play every instrument.
Ben told us that.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
He could play every instrument by age 13, I believe.
Holy smokes.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
just about.
Wow.
And then second question is, you now play music with your wife, Paula.
Yes.
So can you tell me how that collaboration started? Because when I went to school with Paula,
Yeah.
I had no idea she could sing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you guys got married, I went, oh, that's cool. We married my classmate. That's neat. And then like Paula and Verge playing at this. And I went, what? And I had no idea that Paula was such a talented singer. And then I hear her singing. I'm like, holy shit, man. So
Yeah, well, thank
where
you.
was that? Where was that from?
So I met Paula in 1995 when we were teaching at Gary Shimabukuro's studio, and this was what was it called? Shima Network. And Ben, Taka, myself, Paula, we were all teaching there. So I had a few students, bass and ukulele and whatnot, and Ben had some students, and Paula was teaching voice there. So we met there, and we all became really good friends, and so I always knew she could sing from when I met her actually, but we started playing when she came home, because we started playing was PE, myself and her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we started playing together in 2001. Because we were always together, pretty separable, the three of us. And so we figured, let's play at Chili's or something.
Yeah.
So we did. I mean, it was right in Mililan. I mean, just real natural kind, and it's like almost not thinking, just do. It's not like we're like aiming to be like play at every Chili's around the world. We just wanted to.
The last question.
Yes.
I wanted to, since you're not on social media
Yeah.
and you don't promote your stuff.
Yeah.
Where are you and Paula performing now?
Oh, we play at Kalapwai Market or Kalapwai Deli and Cafe in Waimanalo. It's next to the post office, between the post office and Bobby's Market.
Yeah.
Okay, and we play there every Sunday, 5 to 7 on the summer months. So usually we play 4 to 6, but it's still daylight by the time we finish. And people are walking in like, oh, you guys Paul. And we're like, totally Paul, bro. so we moved
now
it
it's
back
5 to 7.
5 to 7, and it works out a little better. In fact, this Father's Day we played, it was nice. It's not a big place, and we don't promote it either because you can only fit 30 people in there. At best, maybe 47, but that might be they might be standing.
47?
Maybe.
That's a very specific number.
I think I saw that on the wall.
on the wall. I see.
Like the max number.
Yeah.
But how do you guys decide what to play? I mean, does Paula come to you with songs? You go, hey, Paula, we'll go try
Well,
this.
she is Paula by I guess by nature she's an alto.
Mhm.
So she has a little bit lower voice than like a soprano would.
Yeah.
So she sings like a lot of sultry songs, or I don't know. like Sade, and she likes that kind.
Yeah.
Anita Baker. So she sings a lot of songs that people don't sing, which is very cool for me because I enjoy that even more.
Yeah.
Because it's I'm not playing like,
The same tunes.
the other songs that everybody else is playing,
yeah.
that everybody else wants to sing that I don't want to do. So it's, so I never really need to choose. But like we did a CD or a project a few years back, and I got to write a tune for her that she sings on that. And it was cool because I got to help her, maybe produce her in a way that she doesn't hear herself, because when you don't sing your own songs or write songs and write and perform songs, then you're singing other people's songs.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of, you may not know the difference, or you may not hear the difference or feel the difference even if you're like trying to do Bobby Caldwell like Bobby Caldwell.
Yeah.
And not like yourself.
Yeah, there's no track to match when you're doing an original song. You're just doing what feels good for
exactly.
you. Right?
So I mean, for her it was a big experience, but it was awesome to watch the growth from my side, because that's what I do, and that's what I love to do, is just original music. So
speaking of music, we've come to that part of the show. We have one question.
Yes.
Or a final question that we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
If you were stranded on a desert island for all of eternity and could only take 3 albums with you to listen to for the rest of time, what would those 3 albums be?
Probably Mackie's Greatest Hits.
Okay.
Carlos Jobim.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who that is.
That's he's a Portuguese writer from Brazil, and he wrote songs like One Note Samba, The Wave, Meditation, Corcovado, like really romantic, really like just wow, needle drop kind.
Okay.
And probably like Blackstreet, something.
Nice.
something poppy.
Yeah.
Something just
you can dance to.
and just kind of like strut to and be awake.
There you go.
Well, grab a guitar, because I know that you're not getting out of here without playing us out.
Nope.
Sure.
So we'll do that. Devin, Kyle, do you have anything to... Once you go, and then I'm going to tune up my guitar, and then why don't you guys...
This one or that one? Or what do you
I don't know. I'll try to grab this one, and then... Is there anything on your mind as we go into the end of the month?
No, not really. I'm actually excited to see Devin and the group
Oh,
that
he's
play
playing,
coming up. So maybe you might want to kind of...
well,
everybody in.
Princess and the Iso Peanut, show written by our good friend Lisa Matsumoto, is going to be at Mano Valley Theater coming up actually this week, Thursday, so the 19th, and then we run for only 3 weeks. The show actually we weren't even sure we were going to be able to do it, because originally we were supposed to do Kamuki High School, but the AC crapped out. And so they needed to find a place. They couldn't find a place. So
That's
they said,
why Roz... Is that why Roz is so stressed out? Is she part of that?
Yeah. So we lost our original directors, who we also know. Pat came in to help kind of last minute. And then we have to fit like a 40-plus person show into a space that's 40 feet wide.
It'd be interesting to see a stripped-down, intimate version of that show.
And
you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm
and
looking forward to it.
It's definitely stripped down, but I don't think it loses any of its power. I think it's a really,
and your cast is stacked with amazing talent.
The musicality is fantastic in this show. I just try not to get in the way. So, but if you can, it's actually almost sold out. All the tickets are almost sold out.
That's awesome.
I
So
saw that.
you never wait to buy a ticket.
No, we're going closing, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or night before closing.
Oh, yeah, night.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, and if you get a chance, watch Sinners, the movie Michael G.
I did watch that. It was good.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stuck with me for longer than I thought.
The only problem with Sinners for me was that
I know it's talking to me.
it was so hyped up,
Yeah.
So I was expecting it to be like super. It was good. It was good. Like I would recommend it, but don't go in with like crazy expectations.
No, but I think the thing I liked about the movie is there's so many different layers to it that you watch it once and you go, huh? And you watch it again, you go, oh, that's interesting. And you watch, you know.
Well, you know what's funny is I don't think this is a spoiler, but Michael B. Jordan plays twins.
Yeah.
So he's playing both characters. For the first half of the movie, I'm like, damn, that guy looks like Michael B. Jordan. I was like, how did they get him to look like? I was like so confused, you know. And then finally, I'm like, oh, he's playing both. He's playing both sides.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a cool looking guitar. What is that? Pickups in the puka?
No, that's popsicle sticks.
How come?
Because so this particular puka is bigger than normal. Like the sound hole is a little larger.
Yeah.
So the plastic rubber feedback buster thing doesn't fit. So we put these sticks so that they don't fall. It doesn't fall in.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, popsicle action.
Whatever works, man.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
All right, let's do one, and we'll call it a day.
Okay.
You play whatever you want. I probably will mute myself, so don't worry about me.
Well, I mean, you guys have anything you want to hear before?
Oh, there's too many stuff to hear. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
what's your favorite song to play?
you know, it would probably be one that's not my own.
Okay.
Selfishly, I want to hear a chant song only because if we can give chant as much popularity as we can, because it was so ahead of the time. The R&B vibe to it, the way that you guys are written.
You can't find that album on YouTube.
No.
Anywhere.
No.
I think it's on SoundCloud,
Oh, it is.
and then it's owned by Lester Ganton. So, but I mean, you can download it. Yeah,
Okay.
some of it anyway,
Yeah.
Good to know.
and or else.
Once you do that, and we'll just
Okay.
enjoy.
Well, if you want to tinker, it's an A.
Okay.
And this song was written before chant, but I didn't do anything with it until I met the boys and knew that it would suit them and suit us. But I wrote it 1989,
Oh wow.
and I was coming home with a coworker, which I was intrigued with, and I wanted her to meet my mom. She's an outer island girl, so she was into it. But then, I don't think she was into me, but she wanted to meet my mom anyway.
What?
But I mean, we became really good friends.
Oh, okay.
But then, she asked me, "How do you know what love is?" I mean, and I was like, "Oh, challenge." And I was telling her these words on the way home from work.
Really?
Yeah. So and then eventually I finished it. I finished most of it that day, but it was with me for that long.
And this is on the first Chan album.
Yeah, well, it's the only Chan album.
So it's a love song that's not quite a love song.
Well, it's a love song.
Okay.
Because the question was, how do I know what love is, right? So and this is for life, and and I've had the pleasure of performing this song at plenty of people's weddings and stuff.
Mine.
And in fact, yours
Yeah.
and Calvin's.
Nice.
And Calvin got to sing it for his wife.
Yeah, I was there and I saw him sing. I was like, whoa, brother can sing.
Really?
So it was really
Yeah.
cool to have friends get to perform or express through your music. So thanks for tuning in, y'all. This one's called For Life. I found love in your eyes. Now I see clearer skies. There are rainbows, sweet, sweet flowers. Please believe when I say that my heart belongs to you. And today and the rest of your life, please stay. I sometimes wonder how, oh how it would be without you next to me. I need your love, I just can't go on. I need you by my side just to make me feel complete. Darling, I love you for life. I love you for life. Oh, I love you for life. Oh, I love you for life. Oh, I sometimes wonder how, oh how it would be without you next to me. I need your love, I can't go on. I need you by my side just to make me feel complete. Darling, I love you for life. Darling, I love you for life, for all my life. And all your life, and all lives. Ooh.
Man, let's bring back memories.
Wow, man.
Alright.
That does bring back memories.
Thanks, guys.
Virgil, thanks, man. All
I
right.
can't believe
you,
she
thank
didn't want to
you.
date you after
I
you wrote her
know,
that
I
song. What the hell is wrong with her? Anyway.
All
Love
right,
you
well-
guys. Love you guys.
Well, everybody, next week we'll be off, but we'll be back shortly in July with more podcasts.
Woohoo!
Take care.